Thank you for coming. This is the first official Alchemist Guild Spaces. I'm Alchemist. Today we're here. We're discussing the anime Dandadan. We're doing episode 1 and 2. Now, some of y'all may have seen their episodes 3 and 4 are out, but I wanted to give everybody here kind of a chance to watch 1 and 2, sit with it, digest it, and really give it time to to breathe, so that way we're not just rushing through everything and trying to talk about everything all at once. So today we're going to go ahead and deep dive into those first 2 episodes, but before we go ahead and jump in, I want to give my co-host Ty a chance to introduce herself, and one of our speakers today, Christian, introduce himself and kind of plug their socials and other places that y'all can find them. So Ty, if you want to go ahead and go first, go ahead and tell us where everybody can find you at.
Hey, what's up? My name's Baby Todd CIB. You can find me on Twitter and TikTok, and also my business page, Aesthetically Black Sense, on TikTok and Twitter and Instagram too. Yeah.
All right. Christian, how about you? Where can everybody find you at?
What's going on, you guys? So I go by Tech HD on social media. So on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, pretty much everywhere. It's at Tech_HD1.
Nice. All right. Now, before we just jump straight in, I gotta know, what do y'all think about the intro? For me, I really like that intro. I have to put that intro in like my top 5. That theme song stuck in my head.
That music is really good. Once I heard it, I was like, damn, that's catchy, and that's gonna stay. Normally I skip the intros, but I've been like not skipping these the last 2.
Ty, what you think?
As someone who doesn't know anime intros, I was gonna skip it, but I kept hearing how anime intros are like a really big thing. So I was like, let me listen to it. And I did think it was gonna drop a different bass, like after the first couple bars, but then it switched it up completely, and I was like, okay. And I thought about it even when this show started, and I was like, well, it's catchy when it's stuck in your head. So
Definitely. All right. So first thing first, of course, everything with the anime. I want to know what y'all thought. What do y'all thought about the art style? Like, what do you think about the animation itself?
I like the style of it. The art style, it's I would say there's multiple things involved. So there's times when it's like, and I notice it's like a stencil type of way, like the way that it's drew a little bit, and then there's some portions when it's like super detailed. So I like how they mix it around a lot, and it's not just like the same thing all the time. It really depends, I guess, on the scene, the motion, like what's going on, and it's just there's it's just all over the place, but like it kind of blends and it kind of continues,
Yeah, I really like something doesn't need to be emphasized. It almost goes like flat. Everything blends together. But as soon as it wants to add or emphasize a certain point, everything just pops out at you all at once. I really like how it's drawn, how everything's animated. I feel everything is fluid. They do a really good job of making sure it's choppy when it needs to be choppy, and it's smooth when it needs.
Yeah, and definitely with like anime. Sorry to.
No, you go ahead.
Definitely when it comes to like anime and creating these shows, it takes so much time to do that and to develop this, and so you could definitely tell like they don't focus on like the little things here and there. They make it like really quick, really easy, but then they really emphasize and focus on the really important things, the things that's going to be, changing to the plot, to the scene, to really entice people into this part is really important.
Definitely.
I would say I have to agree with that. I feel like when you first watched it just kind of gave like a regular entertaining type of anime or / cartoon. If you're someone watching it for the first time, you may not distinctively understand the art styles of anime. And then when it wanted you to kind of convey an emotion, that's when it became really clean and really straightforward. So like when it was action sequences or even flashbacks of her grandmother, it just kind of cleaned it up better. And I could like really connect with the emotion that they were trying to convey in certain scenes.
Okay, yeah. So both of y'all really kind of already answered it, but I just wanted to know: is there a specific example that really stood out to you when you felt like the art style enhanced the story, or like felt like the art style helped emphasize an emotional moment? Was there a specific moment between episode 1 or 2 that stood out to y'all for that?
Pretty much like when the abduction, as far as in the alien scene, as well as in the tunnel with the ghost, with the granny ghost,
What, Turbo Granny?
Turbo Granny.
turbo granny, yeah.
Okay. What about you, Ty?
Yeah, I think Turbo Granny's always going to be, whenever we see her, she's always going to be really clean and distinctive because she got a lot going on. That's one thing. I don't know what she was supposed to be. She had a big mouth, I guess, and like she's creepy, but she's always drawn really clean. And I think it's just because she has so much going on between her hair, her face, or mask, and then just the speed alone.
I would have to agree with you, Christian. Like in with Turbo Granny, like her first appearance in the tunnel, how she was just kind of sitting there, and then all of a sudden she like turns her head, but it was like a choppy, smooth turn, and then she immediately takes off and is running down the tunnel to catch Okarum. Like I really like that. But that kind of leads me into my next question: how do y'all feel about the two main characters, Okarum and Momo? Y'all can start with either one. Christian, if you want to go first.
I would say I kind of, I guess, trying to be relatable when it comes to the shy, nerdy, doesn't have that many friends and stuff like that. I can see a lot of people try to connect with him as far as that goes. And then um, Momo, when it comes to trying to, I guess, I don't want to say be popular, but it seems like that she's on the other side. So I guess um, very relatable as far as those like two different sides and then clashing into together and then realizing that there's a lot that they have in common. And she's into the ghosts and he's into the supernatural, UFOs and aliens type of thing. So it's something that they could really discuss about, and even though they're completely different.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree. Like for me, I really like Momo. I feel like she's I really like how well she's written, like as a character. Like she's here, and it's not like I would say like they didn't give her some tragic backstory. She's not some damsel in distress. No, she's strong. She knows what she's looking for, and they don't make her in your face. She gets to develop in a natural way that makes sense to her. She's not good at everything, but the things that she is good at, she definitely excels in. I feel even though I said that's still a woman character, I can relate to that quality. Like I'm not good at everything, but the things that I like to do, I really put my time into it. Another thing with Okaroon, like I really like him. Like he's super like, bro, I don't care what you're talking about. These aliens is what I'm all about. Like if you're not messing with that, then that that's your loss. But the aliens, I'm all here for. This is what I like. I'm gonna be me no matter what. Ty, what you think?
So after watching episode 2, I really like Okurum now, but only when he's like kind of Turbo Granny because his voice got deep, and he was like something about like the depressed,
The
like
depressed emo
sarcastic,
version of him,
right?
dark humor
Like
style.
I was like, oh, okay, I guess. Hopefully, I don't die. I'm like, boy, go fight that thing. It can be done.
It's like it didn't bother
But
him, and he was like cocky at the same time.
right, it was like it's just that smooth, mysterious cockiness. I'm like, okay, hair behind the ear. I feel you. But at first, I definitely just saw him kind of as like the nerdy kid, um, who was a gentleman in the first episode when he like tried to give her clothes and like trying to be respectful to her, regardless of whatever situation they just went through. Very trauma bonding situation. I really like Momo. I feel like she's the popular outcast of the school, if that's understandable, just
Yeah.
because she was bullied because of what her grandma was trying to invoke in her as her powers, and she didn't want to do it. So of course, kids knew about her. They were picking on her, and then as you get older, it's high school. You mature, you get attractive. Guys find you attractive, and of course, like, but she's kind of like, I already developed a personality. I don't really care if you like me or not. But I really like her. Like you said, she's I think humbly cocky,
Hmm.
or she like she has so much power in her, but she doesn't like make that her whole personality. Like you can see, she's like intelligent, she's smart, she's kind, but she also doesn't take shit. So I like her. I think she's really relatable.
Nice. Okay, that kind of leads me into the next question. So I like how both of y'all like them individually. How do y'all feel about the relationship that's growing between them? I kind of want to start this one off because I like how they complement each other. It's not necessarily, oh, Okarun needs Momo or Momo needs Okarun. Like both of them were just fine when they were apart, but when they come together, when she's helping him control Turbo Granny, he's able to really turn up and really show like, dang, like this is what I'm about. Like this is what I can do. Even though, like y'all said, it's that cocky emo, like, yeah, I might be able to do it, but we probably might die type attitude. And I really like how Momo always really make sure, like for episode once she has to realize she can control the curse, like she does not stop controlling the curse for him. Like I really like that. She could have easily been like,
Okay.
forget it,
Okay.
whatever. I'm gonna let you turn into Turbo Granny. But she really made sure no matter what she was doing, even in episode two, she was changing. She still made sure the curse was under control. What did y'all think?
Yeah, like them together just makes them stronger, um, compared to being individual. And it's I could definitely see them really colliding both of their abilities and power to the point that they will just be able to really kick ass and just dominate. As far as Momo with her psychic abilities and Ogurun with his Turbo Granny phase, and be able to probably even master it and keep it.
Ty, what'd you think?
I like them both together. I think they both took on a protector role, but in different ways. Okrum, he seems more like an emotional kind of protector where, whenever she's in harm's way, he's ready to get in action. He doesn't care what happens to him. Where it's just kind of like as a protection, as a friend. Like you said, I could let Turbo Cranny take you over. Like it's not gonna do anything to me. But she remains like, because he tried to go off and fight her by himself, and she's like, well, you need me. I'm gonna help you. I have to help you because she's gonna take over you. So I like how they both have different protector roles. Them working together. I think it's just gonna be, I don't say, the typical male female relationship where, of course, he's attracted to her from what I can tell from episode one, and moving on. Of course, we have to see, she's attracted to him just because of his name and that voice. Because anytime a girl's is like, oh my god, stop talking like that, you're pissing me off. It's like, oh my god, stop talking like that, you're turning me on. Like, read between the lines. I know what you're saying, sis. So, I think it's a lot of immediate attraction in a different way, and then trauma bonding. So I think they're going to turn out to be really good friends and possibly be something more. If,
Most likely, I definitely see that as well.
yeah, I mean, if he keeps the voice, that could happen like super quick.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
voice is just doing it for you.
It is. The voice and like the depressed cockiness, just us. It's sick, but it's spooky season, so whatever.
So kind of that leads me to my next thing that I want to talk about, like their relationship. Do y'all feel, well, Christian as an avid anime watcher and Ty being somebody new to anime scene, how do y'all feel about the relationship? Do y'all think it's like the typical like anime trope, or do y'all think that they did something different with the relationship this go around in Dan to Dan?
Mm, a mixture of both. So it is kind of like the typical anime, I guess. but then at the same time, they are adding to it and giving more of a reason and more of a purpose to a certain extent. They both definitely feel bad for the situation, and it was pretty much both of their faults, and it just um, they're both handling it differently, and it is bringing them closer together and realizing that they're not so different after all. So it's kind of a little bit cliche, but there's a reason behind it, you know.
Okay. Now, when you said it was kind of similar, what are some similarities that you've noticed to like other like anime relationships?
So like similarities of like denying the fact that they don't see an interest in each other. Kind of think of it like Attack on Titans, um, with Aaron and what's her name, Mikasa. I think
Yeah.
I said that right. And how like they were always best friends, they were always together, but there was always something more involved, and it just never came to be. It's kind of the same thing here. Is like there's definitely some connection to it, but there's still separation, and it just comes. We'll just see if it becomes more or if it's just gonna stay as friendship, pretty much.
Ty, what'd you think?
As someone who knows nothing about any other animes except for Avatar, but I was told that's an anime, so
I count
That's
it.
that. Yeah, I count that. That's a
It's in
whole
them.
nother. We could do a whole nother Twitter space on that. But you're valid. Go
right.
ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, but like just basing it off as like entertainment, you always see like those kind of dynamics, where the girl doesn't like take Zoe 101 for instance.
Hmm.
I'm bringing it back old school. Chase immediately in love, attracted to Zoe. She's always like, yeah, no, I mean, I like him, but it's my friend. He's my friend. And it wasn't until like the final season where she like finally, I guess, before she got pregnant, um, I guess connected that she actually had the same feelings for him. So I kind of see that in this show, but I think it's more emotional intelligence for both of them. It's very obvious because of just the conversations they have when they aren't in action mode.
Hmm.
When he was just like, um, basically saying like, no one stays around long enough, no one's to be my friend, and she's like, well, you know why people leave? Because you push them away. You do it to yourself. So I think it's her wanting to be friends, but also an attraction. So I do like that. But his emotional intelligence, he had to call her a bitch though. That was unnecessary. Um, Talking about don't make me understand stuff. Well, that's what I'm here for, and I like that. It's just like I'm gonna be honest with you because I care for you. So I think that's important. They could have made her um, more distant if they wanted to,
Hmm.
but I like that they didn't. I like that she's honest, upfront. This is what it is. Stop
Yeah.
pushing people away. Nobody cares that you like UFOs. You just go too far. You don't give people like a chance to be that obsessive like you.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah, I definitely agree, and I really just like how you kind of pointed out that both of them push each other, and this Dandadan compared to a lot of other animes, I like how both of them are powerful. So it's not one having to always save the other. So I guess sometimes like yeah, she has to control the curse for him to help him reach his turbo mode. But it's like once he's in turbo mode, it's full on working together. And I'm so tired of like the main hero having to save the woman. It's like bro, we like women can fight, women can turn up, so that was refreshing to see they let her get some shine, especially in episode 2 taking on the sumo alien, right? It was really cool to see him. Oh wow, this is my turbo form, I can actually do stuff, but he can't quite control it yet. But realizing how powerful he is, and seeing that okay, they have the ability to protect themselves, so it's not a constant back and forth. Oh, I have to save her, I have to save him. They can allow them both to fight in tandem against their whatever enemy they may throw. I don't, with this show you never know what they're going to be fighting. They just fought a sumo alien, and I don't even know what to classify the three things that abducted her when they took off the human mask. I don't even know what to call those, but yeah, whatever they're gonna be fighting, I like how they do it together. It's not one sitting in the corner watching the action. No, they're both throwing hands. I really like that.
Those are some pencil pusher aliens.
Pencil pusher aliens.
Is
That's the
that what they're
official
called?
term. Is it?
Pen- I think, well, I don't know if that's what they
I
are,
mean,
but I
that's
think they are. I think they like ask them to go to Earth and try and collect somebody. They're like, just see what y'all can do. Like they're usually like in the back of the office. No one really talks to them. They're like, just go back there and see. Because how you gonna send a whole whatever that man rock thing was, and like not I felt like they dropped the ball. Like you didn't want to send me a letter or something first, because I was confused until he's like, "Give me the banana." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah,
he's like,
that was definitely wild.
I'm just like,
But
y'all should have sent him first."
speaking on that, right? So how do you feel like they did blending the humor, the supernatural, and the sci-fi elements, right? Do you think that so far they've done a good job of balancing the three out, or do you feel like one is overtaking everything else? What do y'all think? Ty, I'll let you kick this one off.
Turbo Granny is definitely the I want to say strongest, I guess, that we've seen so far. Because she's attached to him already. Like, and then look, the way I wanted to keep texting you throughout the thing that was everything else happened, like she just bite their dick off. Are he coming to the phone? She just ran around in a circle in the cave. What's happening? Like I had to keep pausing it. I'm like, bro, what's happening right now? She was just in the cave, and then she talked about suck my tits and all something. What? What? Confusion, perversion. What? Um, but she's definitely a interesting villain, one I've never seen before. But I like that she was kind of like the extreme, where the aliens were kind of like I said, like office pencil pushing aliens.
Hmm.
Like instead of just like taking her while being abducted, they were trying to like put her in a state of arousal while trying to control her mind, but she was too strong. They were having like a whole conversation about it. And I'm like, y'all, but can you let me go while y'all discuss this? That's how I felt. I'm like, y'all talking a lot, but do you? So I do like because I think that helps with comedy a little bit. Like we just came from this lady in a cave doing like the absolute most, like these three aliens just trying to figure out what to do next, and then the phone situation just made it a whole chaotic. So I like it. I think it's like a really good balance of what the fuck and oh that's funny.
Okay, Christian, what you think?
Yeah, it definitely has that humor to it. It really catches you off guard, especially if you're not really into anime and you don't like hear all the out of pocket stuff. And so, but I definitely see it kind of going more towards ghosts than
Mhm.
necessarily the sci-fi stuff. I feel like sci-fi there isn't one specific antagonist. Like there's kind of multiple different types of aliens, which is probably what we're gonna see. And whereas like with the ghost, it's really Turbo Granny, and she is like way, in my opinion, way stronger than any of the other aliens that we've encountered so far. And so, but I like the fact that in the beginning they both were discussing about the differences and the kind of like the key things of aliens and the key things of extraterrestrials and ghosts and stuff like that, why one believes in the other. So I kind of like the fact that they like discussed about that before it got like crazy.
I would have to agree with y'all. Turbo Granny, the supernatural, her representing the supernatural side is definitely a lot stronger, I feel, than the sci-fi elements. But I almost think like it feels like they're using her. I'm not saying she's like just a mid-season boss, but I feel like the aliens are a much bigger threat than we actually realize. I feel like Turbo Granny is the antagonist for now, but I feel like they're gonna need her for what's to come with the aliens, if that makes sense. It's almost like a Thanos Loki situation. Yeah, Thanos sent Loki, but Thanos is the big bad. Not saying the aliens sent Turbo Granny, but I feel like Turbo Granny is just kind of like the minor the minor villain and the major one is yet to be seen. Especially after seeing how big, we'll call it the sumo alien was. Like, okay, if the aliens have the ability to make something that big and that powerful to where Turbo, I'm calling him Turbo Okarun, was able to only chop off a few fingers with his turbo powers, what's the final boss of the alien? What is that gonna look like? But I do feel like the transition between the comedy between Okarun and Momo was pretty nice. You know, comedy between them, going to the supernatural, then going to the sci-fi. Especially like you said, Ty, when Turbo Granny or Turbo Okarun like crawled out of the phone in the first episode while she was like getting abducted by the aliens. That was really dope. And how they did it, the and then you have the supernatural meet the sci-fi. That was really creepy, and how they blended that together worked really well. With speaking of this, you know, more of the supernatural and the sci-fi, what do you think? How do you feel like they did even just introducing it? Do you feel like they could have used a little bit more setup? Do you feel like they did it right, or do you feel like the supernatural was way stronger than just the sci-fi concept?
It's like you said. It's pretty much like a build up.
Hmm.
Right now, the supernatural is going to be the most powerful thing because that's what they're really focusing on with the Turbo Granny. Whereas, like with the extraterrestrial, with aliens, there isn't a set antagonist. You know, we saw the sumo wrestler alien, and then we saw the other ones in the beginning. There isn't one that is a huge threat that we see is going to be in like multiple episodes, whereas like Turbo Granny has been in these two episodes and has been the major problem, and even in the third episode, which we won't get into. So it's like, mm, yeah, pretty much. I just want to see where they plan to go with the extraterrestrial stuff for sure, and if they're gonna introduce even a greater threat, something to
Hmm.
run, Turbo Granny's money,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
what do
feel
you think?
like Turbo Granny is going to be used more for defeating aliens than them ultimately trying to destroy her. Of course, they're trying to figure out what they can do, but like when he was fighting Sumo Alien, her powers were needed just to help. So I kind of feel like we won't really see her get destroyed yet because I think she's a factor that's needed. But when they were just like, talking on the phone, explaining like his UFOs and her spiritual side and what the curses were or the curses were and rumors, he had a lot of information. Where
Hmm.
she was like, she had information, but she was like, well, that's what my mind said. And
Right.
I felt that. I'm like, well, I mean, I didn't click on the article. I just read the headline, but that's what my mind said about her. Because I mean, as someone who doesn't watch anime, I didn't really know what to expect, but what I expected was something out of what I couldn't picture. So it wasn't going to be like oval heads, big eyes. I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be different. Turbo Granny was not expecting her at all. He could explain her like to the T. I wouldn't have imagined that. Somebody who created that had some deep, dark dreams. They might want to see somebody.
It's like
But,
Stephen King with all
right.
the
I'm like,
yeah.
is this an anime or a scary movie? This bitch just scared the hell out of me. But that's why I like the aliens. I'm glad they switched back to the aliens.
Okay. So with that, is there one particular like supernatural or sci-fi encounter that just really stood out to you? Like one particular moment that you were just like blown away, like wow, this anime did it for me. Was there a particular encounter that you liked over the other?
Not yet. I would say still kind of in the middle. There isn't anything that has like, for me in particular, that has blown my mind like one over the other. And that's what I'm really waiting for, and that's where is there's definitely going to be the build up as far as that goes. There's going to be either Turbo Granny is going to fuse with Okarun, and he's going to have her powers and hopefully be able to control it. Or maybe he's going to be even worse. Who knows? To be able to fight a crazy, bigger, badder alien. So that's what I'm kind of waiting for.
Okay, Ty, what about you? Was there a particular moment, sci-fi or supernatural, that was really like, okay, I'm locked in. This anime, you, I was interested, but now you have my attention.
Um, like just going. I mean, like I said, now that I saw the second episode, I'm kind of like, ugh, is that like the big one that when I would consider the first one, like for episode one? I feel like I'd have to wait and see two, but before I'd watch the second episode, it probably would have been the uh, transferring through the phone because I would have never
Yes.
thought to I would have never thought that would have happened. I didn't think that was something she could do. So I was like in on that one because I hadn't realized at that point that she infused with Okurum. I
Hmm.
was like, all right, well, where is that? Back at the cave. And it wasn't until like they were kind of like fighting each other for I guess the role of the body. Before I realized I'm like, oh, she ate him? Question mark. Maybe I don't know. So I thought that was a really big one for me. That kind of like stop and really pay attention so I could follow. And I'm like, oh shit, who's crazy? And the aliens were like, we haven't even hit that for our technology. I'm like, what are you talking about? So I
Okay.
like that humor came too.
So for me, that was my moment that I was gonna say. But since you already used it, I'm gonna pick a different one. But I just want to say that gave me Ring vibes. Where she crawled out of the phone, I was like, I was waiting for somebody to be like, "You will die in 7 days." Like that was mad creepy when she crawled out of the phone. I wish they would have added some slow mo to that. But my moment would have to be when Momo figured out what Okarun's real name was, and then the spaceship exploded. I was like, yeah, okay, I can vibe with this show. I really like this. Like for me, when she just figured out, like, oh man, this little nerdy kid is it for me, and how they depicted that, just how they kind of slowed her down, and then the spaceship exploded on cue. I was like, yeah, all right, let's let we can do this. We can really rock out with this.
I like how they foreshadowed it kind of with her friends in the beginning.
Yeah, they did a really good job of setting that up. So,
But the infusion of Turbo Grandma and Okram reminded me of Harry Potter and Voldemort.
oh really?
Yeah, because like when they were like, let's do this together, Tom, and they're like both flying, and then like at one point they infused together because he was Voldemort's Horcrux, so
Hmm.
part of him was inside of him. So that's what that reminded me of. I was like, oh okay.
All right. So you talked about the foreshadowing and how they set it up at the beginning of the episode when Chief realized that, oh man, this is my person. But how do you feel about the pacing of the story? Do you feel like the plot moves at a good pace, or do you feel like there's moments where something should have been rushed, or I mean, something was too rushed, or something should have been slowed down?
I think right now it has a good pace. I feel like there's a good amount of information that they're providing without it being too slow or too fast. Like it still catches your attention. There isn't really a dull moment, just like right in the beginning. But that's just like typical preparation and stuff. But everything has been pretty fast paced, and if it isn't, it's only like slow for like a good 2 minutes, and then it becomes fast again. So I feel like they're doing pretty well when it comes to the pacing of it. There isn't really a time when it's slow, nor is there a time that it's like too rushed that there isn't much information that you connect the dots.
Okay, Ty, what did you
Yeah,
think?
I'd have to agree. I feel like it was a good pace to kind of put everything together and introduce the characters, give them slight backgrounds of you know who they are and just their personality. I will say episode two, maybe I was just like super into it. I felt like it was so fast. I was like, damn, that's it. Okay.
Yeah, 24 minutes. They figure out how to put so much in 24 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like, because he
yeah,
was
that
like
was.
smashing my girl against the wall for like a minute. I'm like, Jesus.
But then it
I
just shows
love.
how intelligent she is. Like I would not have thought about that, and I thought she was getting bodied. I thought she was like about to die but she has her psychic ability, I guess, protecting her or shielding her because she's getting rocked by that sumo wrestler, and but then it was just like, oh, she's making it to the point that she could go beyond, the barrier, and then they'll be safe. And it just shows like it's not just her physical strength, but also her intelligence as well.
Right, because I thought she was crazy when she said that shit. I'm like, see, this is why people say women are crazy. Because why you do, why'd you do that? But I get it. I mean, I get it. You're beyond the wall. You can put the card back up. But girl,
Yeah,
okay.
she was getting rocked. I was like, oh snap! Are we actually? Is this like a Game of Thrones moment? Are they about to kill her off? Because he was not holding back at all.
Did cheat though, so I feel it.
I saved the best question for last, right? The fight scenes. Let's talk about the fight scenes. The fight scenes in Dandadan are crazy intense. How do you feel like the choreography was? Feel like it was too much, or do you feel like it was just enough to where you could follow it?
Um, I would say for the first episode, because I was just confused for a moment until I like started like super paying attention. Turbo Grandma being confused. I thought she was just fighting them just to fight them for their bananas. Uh, I thought that way. I thought she was like a one-track mind. I'm like, she's really into bananas. But I realized it was Okurum trying to save Momo. So I thought that could have been maybe slowed down just a little bit, just maybe for me, and not in my confusion. But once I caught on, I got it. So, and then the sumo alien, that was great. Once the end, once it stopped and you realize what you're trying to do. Because I'm like, well, dang, come on, girl, use your hand. Like, do what you got to do. Let him be Turbo Okuron for like 2 seconds, and then protect yourself. But
I really liked how once Okarun turned into Turbo Okarun, they gave him all the powers, but they put a cap on it. It wasn't like he was just ridiculously strong for no reason. He had a cooldown essentially. I really like that because it's like, yo, he's moving. I would out of my way to say he's almost faster than the Flash. That how fast he was moving. So I really like that against the sumo wrestler. Now I would say Momo unleashing her psychic powers against the aliens, especially when she like gave the alien a flying roundhouse kick and kicked him out of the spaceship and broke the moon. Essentially, I like that better than the sumo fight. But that was definitely I really like that.
Yeah, it definitely shows like a sneak peek of like both of their potentials, and just like they have not reached, their limit, their peak pretty much. They have a limit right now, but they haven't reached their peak, and it's just showing the capability that they could definitely reach, because it was definitely foreshadowing when it comes to Momo with that kick, because in the beginning, she wasn't able to fulfill that kick with her, I guess, ex-boyfriend, and then when she had the full abilities for that little bit of moment, she was able to like completely send that alien. And same thing goes with Okun, is like he has it. It shows like what he's capable of, but obviously he doesn't have any control of it. So only for a glimpse. And I like the fighting scenes. I mean, it's fast. But you could still pretty much keep up with it. So it's fast. It seems fluid, different angles. You know, and it was definitely catches your attention.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So we've come to end. That's all my questions that I had for y'all. I just wanted to take a second to kind of extend the floor out to y'all. Is there anything else that y'all wanted to add, or anything else that y'all feel like we missed?
No, I mean, I feel like we pretty much covered everything. Uh, yeah. I mean, do you think it's really going to be them two focused on, or do you think they're going to add another character into the story? Um, I saw the third episode, so I don't know. You guys want to
Save it.
discuss a little bit?
Save it.
Okay.
Save
Okay.
it.
I can't wait for Grandma because I feel like she's going to be essential for
Okay.
Momo and maybe Turbo, Akron, Okron,
Okarun.
Ken.
That works. We can
Oh,
call
that
him Ken.
nigga
Yeah.
Ken.
But I want to give everybody one last chance. Ty, if you want to go ahead and remind everybody where they can find you at on social media.
Yeah, so I'm on TikTok and Twitter for babytot.cib. Also, go to my business page. We're having spooky season sales for our skulls. It's aesthetically black scents on Twitter and TikTok.
Christian.
Yeah, so I am a gaming tech reviewer and a live streamer, very much into reviewing products, unboxings, and stuff like that. So everything as far as social media goes is at tech_HD1. That's pretty much on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok.
And then for me, I'm Alchemist. You can find me here on X, Alchemist Online, and you can also find me on YouTube, Alchemist Online as well. We talk everything from PlayStation to anime. But I want to thank everybody for coming out. Catch y'all next week when we talk about episode 3 and 4. All y'all have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.